Six it, bro. Welcome to Six Set Bro, a misguided adventure through the social fringe of the music industry. I am your guide, Don Maple. I'm here with my friend from... Where are you from, Andy? Nobody ever knows. You're just really confusing.
Probably I'm going to say the Netherlands today.
Okay, Andy
I don't think that's
from the Netherlands is here. My big brother, Mike, is in the back. We don't put him on camera for reasons unknown. Where are you, Mike? Although he does have a microphone this time.
I'm over here.
Yeah, so you might be able to hear him
Disembodied voice.
a little better. You probably need to talk into that a little closer, my friend.
Like this?
That's the stuff.
Sound
That's
good?
the stuff. And we got two aliens today. So I think the idea is this is the second video episode. So two aliens, which is gonna become a problem eventually.
How many aliens do you have?
Two. The next episode is when it starts becoming a problem.
With access to secret cloning techniques.
Yes, you never know. We might
So
be
if
able
anyone
to.
wants to send you guys aliens, now would be the time
Yeah,
to do it.
Surf Green specifically is kind of their go-to. So if they want to send some, they have the access that we don't know about, which is probably Amazon. But I'm assuming that's where they get them from. We gotta introduce you. You've already heard his voice, but we are here tonight with one of my closest friends in the world. I've played with him on many projects. We have been friends for many years. SACHA, aka Adam Weston. Welcome to the show, my friend. How's it going?
It's good to be here.
Yeah, totally.
All of that is true.
Is this weird that we're having a conversation like we always have, but now with microphones?
A little bit.
A little bit.
But I've been waiting for it for a long time. So.
That's cool. Okay, now that my applauding is out of the way, I made this mistake last time. I had Ethan on, I was holding my coffee, and then I realized I was going to applaud for him, so then I had to put down the coffee.
That's
so
right.
I'm going to pick it up so I can be super casual. I can't even reach it. I'm gonna take this off, right?
With the lovely...
I wore this jacket because I'm like, this jacket's gonna look really cool on camera, right? But it's just constantly squeaking,
Yeah.
and we're just picking this all up in the microphones. But you know what? I got a little surprise for you on under
that is a
here.
surprise.
This is a surprise.
Okay,
Right,
cool.
let me get this jacket off, folks. Strip down segment that we don't have.
You're going to put an audio thing?
Some sexy music
That's really sexy.
Yeah, it is. For anybody who can't see, I am wearing a Weapon S shirt, and you'll soon realize why that's a big deal. But you know, I think probably the best way to start this is to start at the beginning, when me and Adam met.
Yeah.
We've been friends since what are you, Drew? 14.
It was third year, I believe, in school. Or
Third.
fourth year, sorry, fourth year.
Right,
So
okay.
15.
So like, yeah,
Yeah.
15, something like that. I always think it's 14. Maybe it was 14 for me. I'm young, right,
were-
from
yeah.
the year.
You were the Wunderkind.
Yeah,
The operator.
I think so. But yeah, we met in school. We met in art class. I just remember, like, I don't know. I can't remember everything of this at the time. I just remember you talking to me about your music stuff, and you had stuff that you had recorded on your Zen.
I had what was it, like a Sony Zen?
Sony Zen. It was like a little purple Zen.
Yeah. And I had a demo of a song called
Solitaire.
that I had really badly recorded.
Yeah, it sounded great to me.
Scrap 3.
Dude, we were, well, I was 14.
Yeah.
We're establishing that you were 15.
Yeah.
But we were 14 or 15, so I was impressed.
Yeah.
At this point in my musical career, I was using Sound Recorder on Windows. Andy, Jesus Christ. So unprofessional. I was using Sound Recorder, you know, like Windows 98 Sound Recorder or something.
Yeah.
That was my go-to DAW of choice.
You did some cool shit in that, like.
I did.
Can you reverse and stuff?
Yes.
Maybe? Yeah, I think you could.
Which is surprising because some DAWs you go into, you don't even have a reverse button. So, I mean,
DAW designers take note. We want reverse.
More
Pretty sure there's
more
a
reverse.
in most.
I mean, I kind of
DAWs.
used it for most of my material back then. It's like once you had a song and you thought it was good, and it's like just reverses,
Reverse this shit.
and it's like the Beatles instantly, like the Beatles. It's like, this sounds like the Beatles. It doesn't.
That's good. Let's make it unlistenable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's the key.
That's the stuff.
I always tell people the story of like I didn't understand the multi-tracking was a thing at the time, and what I did with sound recorder was like I would record my instrument into my microphone, which by the way was like it looked like a penis. It was like a really long phallic
Bit
shaped
Freudian.
microphone.
14-year-old. No.
It was weird. I mean, I didn't choose it, but that's the type of microphone that came with the computer.
Okay.
And I would record like my guitar into that, so I'd play into it, and then it was recorded on sound recorder, and then I would play the sound recorder file out of my computer through my speakers, and then put the mic so that it was close to me and close to the speaker, and I would play over that,
Yes, I did a little bit of that.
inventing overdubs.
I did that at your house
Yeah.
on a side project that we called Spur of the Moment.
Yes, I still have those files.
There's some kind of cool jams.
Well,
know what.
we definitely remember them cool.
Yeah.
There's one
Let's
where
never show them to anyone, but like in our minds, they're cool.
well, for the sake of the podcast, they're really cool. You'll never hear them. They're super rare.
There's one called Regnet.
Regnet,
German for rain.
German for rain, and I
was studying
remember
German at the
specifically that you played my phone on it. I had a setting where I could change my phone keyboard to xylophone sounds.
Yes.
So we didn't have virtual instruments or an actual xylophone, so why not play it on the number pad of your
On the
your
number pad with physical buttons and like a latency of 3 seconds for each thing, so it was madly out of time, but
Yep.
Wow,
So needless
revolutionary.
to say, we have
we've been pioneering.
we've been pioneering music for a
technology.
long
We've been
time.
around since
We just didn't realize
2006.
that it had already been done. But yeah, so we've been on this musical journey together somewhat, and for anybody that has paid attention to the band that we were in, hit the B button, or is following me and Don Maple, you'll know Phil Wright, aka Smoothie Shepherd, as well. He's been there from the beginning as well, and
Shout out to Smoothie.
shout out to Smoothie. Always shout out to Smoothie. I want him on this podcast one day. That would be a very interesting
The
podcast.
world is not ready.
But yeah, I mean, we've been doing this thing since we were like 14 or 15, and our first band was called Faux Phoenix, and I thought for the sake of this podcast I would dig out our first release, which, my god, must be the most ambitious thing a young band could ever do,
Yeah.
because with the knowledge of how music works and the music industry and trying to start a DIY band, you would know that you would probably release a single or an EP to start with. We went first for the full feature-length album, and if I can just
It's essentially like 3 EPs though, right? Because it was recorded in 3 different places. Over the
well, if
course
you
of-
look at it like that, it makes
Like
it
a
sound like
very-
it's way better, but like
It's
I mean,
not,
we
like-
definitely thought we were making an entire album, which we got. I mean, we paid for duplication. We went to music
have a
students. You have a copy. This is very rare to come by.
multiple copies that I can't get rid of.
But it's like a 12-track album, and the funniest thing that gets me is like there's like 3 producers on this thing. When we were 15,
Shout out
3
to Michael
producers.
Barr, Paul Steen, the other guy.
Daniel Black. How can you forget Daniel Black?
Daniel Black. Let's move on.
Well, funny story about that guy. If he's still doing music, he'll really hate me for this, but Andy, hold that album nice and close to that camera so that people can see the artwork. Now,
think-
I'll bear in mind it's very dark, so you'll not be able to see it very well.
The name is hilarious.
Oh, the name
It was
is
so ambitious. It's fitting with the whole thing.
yeah. Our band was called Faux Phoenix, and our album was called There Goes the Day Job, because we thought this would launch us to superstardom. Clearly.
Pretty bold.
Which is awesome. But yeah, funny story about one of the 3 producers we had on this record, right, is this guy Daniel, who, by the look of his website, he seemed like the most professional. The other 2 were, well, one of them was like a university student who was not charging us too much. We really took
great.
advantage of him. Shouldn't have done it.
He just worked out of his own home and he was actually great.
Oh,
Don't know
great.
what he's doing now. Michael Barr.
Michael Barr, his house was his recording studio, and it was like a fucking mansion. It was just like this huge abandoned house. He had a drum kit in like the kitchen. He just had wires running around the whole
Yeah.
thing. It was I don't know. I think it was his mom's house or
It
something.
was.
the
His
Chili
mum was
Peppers?
there a few times.
It was like
a bit
it was like
Like
funky.
Chili
Peppers
Peppers.
Mansion,
It's like
yeah.
Funky
David
Monks.
Mansion, yeah.
It was a bit like Funky Monks, only if the Chili's were 13 and not addicted to heroin.
Chili's had literally walked to the house after school, after they got off the school bus.
It would basically
They
would have been
walked
Funky
for
Monks.
About half an hour in their blazers and their backpacks on, and then they went and laid down something they couldn't perform very
Yeah,
well.
half-assed songs.
And
then
got
it
their
would be
mums to pick them up.
it would be totally like Funky Monks then.
Yeah.
Sorry, the story I want to tell, because I think this is an important story, to be honest with you. Bearing in mind the age that we were at this time, this guy that we went to record with, we go in, right? Young kids, ambitious, trying to record a thing. We wanted to go to him for one song. That was the plan. Because we were going all over for these songs, and the guy's availability at the other places was spotty. So we go to this guy and we go in. He starts immediately talking about tracking multiple drum takes, because he's like saying, if we're gonna set up the drums and stuff for the day, you're better tracking multiple drum takes. But we told him we only wanted one song, so it's like, now with the knowledge, I obviously know he was trying to screw us over, which he kind of did anyway. But yeah, we thought he was right anyway. So, but
He might have been good, but he was operating out of a little industrial unit.
Yeah, it
which
was
sounded
kind of
shit.
like
The
a ship
acoustics
container.
Yeah, it was like a shipping container.
It was terrible.
It sounded metallic.
But yeah, I just don't like how he handled it, because he wanted us to record more than one song, and then whenever he didn't, he seemed like he was a bit of an ass during the entire process. And then we recorded this one song, and he wanted us to pay him then and there, because he obviously didn't buy that we'd be able to afford it, and we didn't have all the money with us, because he charged us so much more than what we thought it was, and literally drove me to an ATM so I could lift out more money to pay him.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's not my only experience
Wow.
like that as a 16-year-old in Northern Ireland as well. I think it's fairly predatory. You know,
Crazy,
like
man.
these people, like, it's hard to make money doing this. Let's say that. But
Yeah.
like in my experience, it can be fairly predatory as a young teenager, because I went into a big studio to do another
Yeah,
thing.
we don't need to name it.
And I think that was I was kind of exploited a little bit, but sure, carry on.
Yeah, it happens, man.
Yeah.
It's just be aware of it.
Yeah.
If there's any like younger listeners out there, I feel like it's a lot easier to know what's going on now and what way it should work. But like, I really didn't have a clue back then, like what we should be doing. So it seemed like the right thing. As you think you start a
have to throw
band.
money at it, you know.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
you think you have to do.
think you definitely have to spend money, but like, I mean, that was insane what they done. But anyway, we came out with this thing. There goes the day job. Yeah, we didn't exactly quit jobs over it or anything like that, but
Have you even had a job yet?
I did. That's
Yeah.
why I paid him the money out of the ATM. But yeah, that was our first venture, and
Who
then
is the person in the front cover ripping their school shirt?
that's Adam.
Is that me?
That's you.
Yeah, on your chair.
Yeah, on my chair. That's in my bedroom. And if you can't see that, that's a guy in like a shirt with a tie, and he's ripping his name badge off because like he
Enough of
doesn't
this shit.
work there anymore. And the funny thing is, the name badge is for my job that I still have. I still work for the same
irony.
company, so the irony is incredible. Yeah. So let's toss this to the side.
Yeah, so let's stop talking about the thing that no one's ever gonna hear.
Oh, hold on a second here, buddy.
I mean, it's not awful. There are some good ideas.
Yeah.
Kind of poor execution.
I didn't mind it.
It doesn't work as an album because there's all sorts of different sounds. Like I was live, I played drums and I sang, and then on that record, I was like playing guitar parts and
Yeah.
all sorts doing bass parts.
You were all over that album.
Yeah.
Even back then, I should have
Probably.
known. I should have known the musical genius you would turn out to be. But right, we'll skip by. I spent way too much time talking about our first band.
Yeah,
we
that's
could
fine.
we could do this all night. That's not what we're here for. Basically, that band ended. Adam went to university, which I'm sure we'll talk a bit about because you started up a band over there called Weapon S.
Mm-hmm.
We'll touch back on that. I'm just giving you the timeline of events, but that is very important. That is the shirt I am wearing of that band. We'll get back to it. after university, many years, what did you get in the end? A master's in music?
I did. Yeah.
You did? A master's in music? That's appropriate. I think you are a master of music.
Fuck is mad.
Adam moved back here from Leeds. Isn't that Leeds?
Yeah.
Basically. He moved back here, and then he kind of helped me out because me, Mike, and Phil, who I mentioned earlier, had started a band, but we just couldn't seem to lock down a drummer, and that was Hit the B Button. And Adam came back, and initially it was kind of like you were gonna help us out for a while so we could play some shows, but that obviously developed into more of an actual band together. Adam started writing stuff for us as well. So we just became a unit again. So it was Faux Phoenix over again, but with my brother as well.
Yeah.
So it was great. It was really good fun. And I suppose if we address the elephant in the room, that band broke up. But not in a bad way. There's no drama to talk about. My whole take on the whole thing was just like, for a long time I didn't even know what the band was, I think, and I just think that we had different ideas of what we were trying to write, but we were trying to make everything so like, what's the word, I can't even think of it. It's like we wanted to be fair for everyone, right?
Right. Democratic.
That's what I'm trying to. I couldn't get the word out of my head. But we wanted that for the band, but that's maybe not always the best decision, because then we were trying to get everyone's ideas into one song at a time, and I don't know. It was a great band. I had a lot of fun in it. I think we put out some really good songs, but
we definitely wouldn't have reached out to the people in the local music scene in the way that we did. Like, we wouldn't be aware of all the people doing the great things that they're doing without that band.
Without Hit the B Button, no, there's no way. And
People
like,
be aware of us.
I definitely got to shout out my brother Mike for that, because he was always from day one about the collaborations and trying to meet up with other people, and that's what really pushed us into that.
It wasn't me. Don't blame me.
It's just weird thinking back to a time where I wasn't really in that mindset that was the thing to do, but then I didn't know how much was going on. I've known for years now. Like, we're talking early days of B Button, which is maybe like 2014 or something like that.
Yeah, late 2014.
But like, it's a problem that probably still haunts the music scene today, is just a competitiveness, and wanting to shine through whenever it's a small country, and the chances are super slim, and you see everyone as competition. And ever since I've learned how amazing everything is, and like the camaraderie that comes with the local music scene, I'm just trying to flip that on its head. I'm trying to do whatever I can to push everyone else, and maybe it works, I don't know, but I'm trying to push myself, but I don't even think about it as much. But I think in turn it helps people realize that I'm just a normal guy. Like, there's no competition here. I'm not trying to fight with other people. I won't even play Battle of the Bands. I don't want to anymore.
It doesn't have to be a competition. I don't like that mentality of music being a competition ever.
I'm not a fan either, but I've made that clear several times over, and I'm sure there's people that probably watch this podcast that run those things and just think I'm a dick and won't give me shows now, but I can't help how I feel, right? I don't really like the mentality of it. It's fair enough. People are trying to do it to get a bit of cash behind them, but I don't know. I just think the time
it's also
could be
normalized as well with, like, certain big TV shows making that the way that people consume music and find out.
That's like the big Battle of the Band show that you have to get through. But yeah, I mean, I've completely thought the opposite way now. But B Button was great for all of us, but I think all you have to do now is go and play one of Adam's songs under the SACHA project name, and then go and play a Don Maple song, and see why we kind of needed to, like,
that's a good point,
do separate projects, because we were trying to make that work under one thing. and it was really hard, because we didn't have that joint vision. We tried to make it one, but it's hard to force that into one thing.
Sometimes we did, but like, I think we just had a lot that we needed to get off our chests,
I think it's just
we can
weird.
maybe go back to it at some stage.
Well, I think it's completely up for grabs that we could get together again. We all just needed space to write our own things. But I mean, this that's on the screen at the minute is Slaw, and me and Adam done this as a separate project.
I love this song. This video makes me cringe. Just my parts.
Hey, this video is good. Whoever
just-
directed
it's
this
just-
video
the
is
direction is
fucking cool.
It's me getting drunk in a hotel room in Sicily.
That's a
my
great.
parts of
That
this
is
video.
a great story to this video. We had to record this separately because Adam was in Italy at the time and I was here.
I think 182 status. Recording it separately, isn't that what
It is, yeah. I recorded all my parts here in this room that we record the podcast in against one of these blank walls. I think it turned out all right.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is Slaw is a separate project that me and Adam decided to do because like we had a lot of hip hop influences and we never felt that was something we could bring into Beat Button as much, just for the reason of like we didn't think that's what the band was either. And I think it just proves, like, I think it was just the attachment to the name. We didn't know what that band was meant to be or what it represented. I can never understand it. And it's like, all we had to do was start a different name, like a different IP, if you will. And then we could come together for a joint effort where we made this one style and it was easy.
And this was like an exercise in production for me, like a whole new style of
Yeah.
production that I just ran with. I loved, and I would love to do again at some point. But
For sure. Well, I mean, Slaw's not
Session
over.
and
It's
stuff.
just it's something that we're kind of doing on the side. So it's like we did this and we don't really have anything right now. I mean, there's one idea that's still floating out there, but when when we'll get to it, like who knows, you know. But anyways, B Button split up, hiatus, whatever you want to call it. And then that's whenever our own projects really started taking form. Don Maple had been a thing I had actually done towards the end of B Button because there was I think there was maybe 2 or 3 shows that B Button got asked to play and it didn't suit everyone in the band. We couldn't do it because of work schedules or something like that, and I basically offered to play a solo show where at first I was considering playing like B Button songs acoustically or something, and then I was like, well, I have all these songs backed up, so like I'll just play some of my own material. And then the first one I played was a BGO show for Sean McCann, and yeah, it seemed to go down pretty well and I felt pretty comfortable doing it. So whenever it came to like what am I gonna do next, I'm like, I think I'll just go forward with the Don Maple name, and that's how that came about, and it's turned into a band now, which is absolutely great. I've been announcing the band members over the week. I'm sure by the time this comes out I've announced them all, but yeah, I'm very happy with it. It's nice to be able to play these songs that never would have worked under B Button's title, you know. And
for
then
whatever reason,
I suppose you're the best person to tell us, Adam, so SACHA, why? When did it come to fruition? Why the title?
Right.
Everything, just to talk about the start of it.
well, SACHA came in a very different way for me. Like the first song was The Inner Circle. I think I wanted that. That's a very old song that started off as a Weapon S song. I don't know if you know that.
I don't know
That was
that.
the like one of the last Weapon S songs that we had created, and it was like a step above, a cut above all the other ones as well, and I was super excited about doing something with it. But there was this whole album of songs that we'd done beforehand, and it wasn't on that album, and I was like, okay, we got to get this album out before we can do The Inner Circle. And then, as some of you may know, because of like if you know anything about the subject matter of Deperson, which is the new song that came out.
Yep, your new single.
Yeah, new single. It's all about losing that album in a really shitty way.
Yeah, I mean,
I like
it's maybe a good.
short.
Well,
We're
no,
gonna have to go into
let's get into it.
Yeah.
I think it's important because your new single Deperson is kind of all about what happened with Weapon S, which was like a super important band to you. I mean, you started that while you're at uni.
Yeah, I had such it was like kind of one of the best times in my life, and I had such high hopes for it. Like I threw everything at it, and it was like that album. If it had ever come out, it would have been great. But I'd been working on it for years, like obsessing over it to the point of
Because
like,
can I just say you
Yeah.
engineered and produced it?
Yeah.
So-
And I was, like after uni, I took it away and I worked on it for like years. But I was a little bit like I drove myself to like depression, pretty much. Like I hate saying it, but I did. I drove myself to that point with it, where I was just like, I wasn't getting anywhere, and it was never going to be how I wanted it to be, you know? It was never going to be good enough. And then I went on a 6-month tour of Italy in 2017, which was cool. Got my car robbed, like all my shit was taken from my car, my laptop, my hard drives and shit, so that was the end of the album. And like, it had been so long, it had been like 4 years or something, and for the longest time I thought like, this is the worst thing that can happen to me, but then I kind of just like, I felt relief like pretty quickly, you know. And after, I think a couple of months after that, I came back here and just immediately jumped into the studio with Rocky to do the Inner Circle in Start Together.
Yeah.
Because that was one that, you know, I'd always wanted to do like a solo type thing.
Mm.
And I was just like, right, now it's, you know, you gotta bounce back, you have all these ideas.
Yeah, for sure.
And in a more productive manner, let's not like get bogged down by things to that extent, you know. So I learned a lot from that experience, I think.
No, for sure, man. I mean, I still remember whenever that happened in Italy, and you messaged me about it, and it's just, we would just like send voice messages like back and forth a little bit because we would miss each other, but we just sort of sent like WhatsApp voicemails, and you told me about like the way everything got taken. I just couldn't believe it. I mean, there's like, it was an ongoing joke. Like, I'm sure it's terrible because like, you were feeling really down about that album, and a lot of people would just pester you about it. Like, I'm sure people that were in the band obviously wondered what you're doing with it if everything was recorded, and you know, people that knew you were working on it over here that you talked to, everyone's just like, oh, this is the album that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, it was like
a bit of a joke.
It was an ongoing joke, but it's
like, I didn't let on that I hated that, but I did.
Yeah,
you know?
it's
it's
clear. I still made fun of it as well, and I shouldn't have, but like, I just remember whenever you said that, it's knowing the weight that album held. I mean, how many years were you working on that?
Like 4.
4 years.
Yeah. Like,
gone. But
then it started, like, some of the songs were written in like 2010 as well, and then the thing got nicked in 2017, so I was just like chucking everything at it, you know, like,
I was just so flabbergasted because whenever you talked to me about it, you'd said you didn't even seem that angry. You were like, you're kind of relieved was your initial reaction. That's what you told me anyway, but I'm sure it was a bit more it kind of lingered a bit longer than that.
It was like a traumatic event,
you
know? Like, it really was, but I've learned so much from that, and I think like I learned all the skills in production that I have. Like, I learned stuff from uni, but I think the majority of the stuff that I know now is because of the obsessive amount of time I spent on that record. And like, now I think I'm in a state where I can just, like, if I want to do something, I know exactly how to do it like that. And I can do it. Like, I still don't have I'm not the most prolific artist in the world. I'm still working on it, but, you know, I know that there's a point when you have to abandon things, you know, like artwork is never finished, it's just abandoned. I can't remember who said that.
I've heard that before.
Artwork is never, what do you say? Artwork is never finished, it's abandoned.
It doesn't really matter who said it, it's just one of those.
See what happens. And if it's not
Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, there you go.
Da Vinci.
Right?
You just quoted Da Vinci, my friend.
Albert Einstein.
This is probably a very difficult question, but if you think all that stuff hadn't been robbed from you, would you ever have finished it? Like, I mean that in a serious way. I'm not trying to be funny, but do you think you would have got to a stage where you thought you needed to leave it behind?
See, like, I think 7 out of the 11 songs were done, as I would have said at the time of the incident, but then they weren't at the same time because I hadn't, like, man, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it, you know, like what I was actually doing, because it's just like, I don't know, it was like indicative. It wasn't just that I wasn't able to get it to sound like exactly how I wanted it, because I was super happy with the sound. It was more like it represented a time for me that, like, after uni, that I was like hanging on to in some way. And I don't know, I don't know if people talk about that enough, to be honest, like the fact that uni for me was like such a good experience, that like I had such good friends, a good network of musicians, teachers, little music scene and everything, and then it all just like disappeared, and I had to go back here. I didn't have to, but like it would have disappeared anyway,
Yeah.
everyone would have gone and done their own thing.
People,
And,
yeah,
yeah,
people start
like we
moving
were
on.
all sort of clinging on to that band, and I just took it really hard, I guess, and that's how it manifested itself.
Yeah.
So I don't know, in answer to your question, I'm glad that I didn't spend another few years working on it.
Yeah.
It probably could have been, but it would have been like a long time.
Well, I mean, just look at what you've achieved since then. It's
Yeah.
like the best bad thing that's happened to you,
Yeah,
I guess.
And like,
You know.
so on the Deperson, I guess, like the point of that song was to acknowledge all that shit, all those demons that hadn't been talked about, and like I had to write it to be like to subvert the authority that album had over me, if you know what I mean. Like it had to be better.
It had to be
than
better
everything.
than,
It's
than
such a
everything on the
fucking epic
record.
song because of that. Like it, I guess, I don't know. It was like a 6 months after all that shit was taken from me, and it was like the very first line, everything's felt hollow since you were taken away. That was only starting to hit me like a few months after the whole thing happened, because I just been, I don't know, sort of in denial about it, and then this song just like came out. Like I found myself in this place in my life where I was just like I wasn't happy,
Yeah.
and I just sort of like made myself go there because I had to like bounce back from this terrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked around and I was like, I don't really like what my life is at the minute. Like, how is this? I don't know this life. This isn't. Can't follow the plot of my life. Do you ever think about that?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
No, I
the
know
plot
what
of
you
your
mean.
life gets a bit hard to follow sometimes. Anyway, yeah. The song came out around that sort of time. No, the song was written around that sort of time.
Written, yeah. Because I mean, it's hard, man. Because we are best friends, but I didn't even realize that that was still ongoing, because it seemed so. It's so hard to.
I sort of tried to like just get on with it, but
Yeah.
like you can't just get on with it, and that's the song. The chorus of that song is like, sometimes you just gotta take the L.
Yeah.
There is no getting around this inevitable hell, all that stuff. Like you have to like face. You have to face that shit at some point.
Yeah.
And there's that can, like, I wrote it in a way, obviously it's about a really niche thing that happened to me, but I wrote it in a way that people can like
They
can
yeah.
attach their relationships to it or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
it's
you
really-
can definitely hear that. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. Like it's a great song, man. There's so many there's so many crazy parts. Like, I mean, I've been saying this since I was like first 15 in a band with this guy. I just don't understand where he gets all this stuff from. Like, you're just like
Okay.
always pushing the boundaries, like musically, but then whenever it comes to production, that's the thing I can never even like. Your one flaw is that you are a perfectionist to the point of you will spend forever on something. I mean that, like, with the Weapon S album,
Yeah.
it's like infinite. It's never gonna end. You'll never let go of it. That's the only flaw. Everything else is like the best production I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like, and we've been to a lot of people. I'm not trying to put anyone we've worked with down, but I'm just like, I just can't get past what you do with songs whenever they're handed over to you. It's insane. But you can never make a business out of it, though.
No,
because you would take
can
like
only
3
work for
years to
myself.
put something out.
Yeah, that's it.
You
But
know?
I think like I'm working on songs differently now, but Deperson was the one that I worked on as if it were a song on the Weapon S album,
Mhm.
and I put the same amount of like meticulous effort into it, and now I'm just like, right,
Yeah.
fuck all that. I don't feel the need to write ambitious like epics anymore. I want, like, there's actually, we can talk about the stuff that's coming out.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, there's an EP coming out in, well, soon.
Let's not name a date.
There's a single coming from it in like a month. I'm
Cool.
gonna say, like,
Is
in
that
March
with
or April.
Is that with Zool?
I don't know.
Yeah. That was Zool. You went through them for Deperson, right?
Yeah, Zool released Deperson. Your Spaceship released The Inner Circle, which were the first two things.
Shout
And I just-
outs.
yeah. Which was cool. I just wanted to like try a few different things. And this new EP is like, I just sat down and I tried to write songs that people could just listen to.
Yeah,
That's
for
something
sure.
that I hadn't really nailed, and just sort of casually enjoy.
Yeah, I mean they're intense listens. If you listen
Yeah.
to Inner Circle and Deperson, they're not like, they're not lay back, relax,
They're
chill
they're getting
jams or
shit off your
anything.
chest,
Yeah, they're deep.
And like, do you remember that time last year I stayed in a cottage for 2 months and I looked after a dog,
Yeah.
And it was like one of the most beautiful periods in my life, just because of the dog.
Yes.
Like, and I had my own space, and I had a room in that cottage. I was essentially dog sitting.
You're
for 2
dog
months.
sitting, yeah.
And I had a room in that cottage where I set up a studio, and I had it so that everything was like always on, and I could just walk in and be creative. You know,
best.
it was cool.
The best.
And that's where this EP comes from. And all the drums are like electronic and stuff. It's all kind of like way more accessible. Way like you've heard Dreamers. Dreamers is
Yes.
the next single.
Yeah, I
Save
got
it
a
first.
sneak peek to that, or a sneak listen, a sneak ear. I don't know what you call it. What do you call it whenever you get a sneaky ear at something?
Sneaky ear. I don't know.
I did. It's Dreamers is like way more. I don't know, like I guess it's accessible on a ground level. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It's like
yeah.
the other ones you gotta like. There. It's intense. Whereas Dreamers is like you can float it out there.
Yeah, it's still maybe still saying some shit, but like way more poppy.
Doesn't mean it doesn't have to be deep lyrically. I just mean
Yeah.
like your execution of like all your musical parts on Inner Circle and Deperson are insane.
But like it was actually like I had that place for 2 months, and I was listening to stuff like Homeshake religiously.
Yeah,
I can't
boy.
like I can't stress how much Homeshake inspired
Homeshake is
that
fucking
EP.
great.
And Beck's Colors album.
Oh right, okay, yeah, for sure.
Like, so there's that song Dreamers, which is maybe it's like a poppy but kind of emotional song. At the same time, there's one that's just like a really stripped back, like just guitar and vocals thing. Really slow, really nice guitar parts. There's one that is kind of a bit more like an attempt at like a Beck sort of bit upbeat type thing. And then there's one that is it's a little bit like rockier, but it's got like electronic drums and stuff. It's a bit lo-fi. It's all a bit lo-fi.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that's
sounds
where
cool to
the
me.
EP is going. It's going to like a different territory.
So can I just can I ask, this EP that's coming out, it won't include Deperson and Inner Circle, or is this something
No.
completely different?
Although it's weird. Like okay. So I'm also working on a song with Simon Hart,
SRH Sound.
SRH Sound.
Shout out.
who is a friend of mine from. It's bizarre. I know him from uni.
It's a weird story,
We both
yes.
went to England to do the same course, and like we realized, of course, it's what happens when you go away and you meet a Northern Irish person. You have mutual friends, and now we hang out here all the time, and we're like helping each other do production and stuff. And Simon was kind enough to lend an ear to Deperson. Like I thought it was one of those things where I thought I had the mix ready a good few times, and then I went around really excited to his place.
Yeah.
And it sounded shit. And I was like, it's just play back in a different system, and like, you know, a fresh ear
the worst.
can sometimes help so much. And then, so now we're working on this song, which is, I don't think you've even heard this one.
Probably not. I
No.
think all I've really heard is Dreamers.
Yeah, but it's
in
another one that's
advance.
coming pretty soon.
Okay.
And it's
cool.
kind of in the same vein as Deperson and the Inner Circle, and that stuff is like I'm just gonna do like on a single by single basis, I think. And they're the ones that I've really had for like possibly like some of them I've had for years.
Really?
You know?
Right.
Because I did the drums for a whole lot of songs in Start Together in one day. You know this, don't you?
Yeah, this wasn't this the day you laid down? We were actually gonna do
I hit the B button song.
Hit the B
Yeah.
button song that we never got to. I mean, maybe one day, because the drums
I
are
have the
there.
drums, yeah.
The drums are there, but there's a B button song called Shiv that we were gonna do. But Adam laid the drums for that while he was doing all the drums for his solo stuff.
So I have like pretty much an album's worth of songs that go way back that I was, you know, songs that like I've written so many songs and I take so long in songs that I only really like finish the ones that I can't stop thinking about, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really bother going back to things if I, you know, because I know how, like, the song has to be fucking good for me to like actually get it out.
It's an age old question of like, a lot of people say that about how do they pick the songs that they want to keep, you know, and it's like, if you space them out like that, is it the ones that you keep coming back to or that stay in your head? Like,
Yeah.
are those the best ones then?
Yeah, and I think I could maybe like make that into like a record, like an LP,
Yeah.
if I just did them like single by single
Until
and,
they're
like,
all
and
they're
then
stacked
I've
on
got
an
maybe
album.
like 5 or 6, and then I'll go like, well, I'll stick another few at the end, and I'm making an album. I don't know, because they all have the same drum sound. But I'm doing this EP as its own thing, and then I'm just like taking my time with the other ones. But I have a lot of cool things coming. One of which is going to be produced by Simon Hart, which is cool. Because if I just took my time doing everything, nothing would get done. So I'm going to try and like work with other.
The fatal flaw. Every
fatal
superhero has a fatal flaw. That's what makes them good. So
Is that song with Simon that
clip that you had on Facebook with the bass.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
That
it's
sounds
pretty
nuts.
pissed,
I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah.
By the way, one question: why is your music so complex sometimes?
I don't know.
Your
I
drumming's
wish I knew.
insane. When I've seen you live, there's arms. You're like that guy. What's Animal?
There's arms.
But it's great.
There are arms involved.
There's arms. Well, yeah.
There's arms on legs.
Do you think it's the? Do you think it was the? Did you want to make complex math music, math rock type stuff?
know, man.
Is that what kind of?
I never set out to make one type of thing, but I've always been very like rhythmically minded. Like drums were my first proper instrument, really. And it's like I think Dave Grohl said like he plays guitar like he plays drums, and I kind of do that as well, but like in a kind of mathy.
Better. In like a
Dave Grohl.
better way.
Dave Grohl can write like commercial songs,
No, I
though,
know.
you know. Yeah, I guess it's that same sort of. I don't know. I've just been obsessed by like rhythms.
Yeah, just the rhythm stuff.
I think like from knowing Adam, one of his big things is like he can't stand for something to have been done before. Sort of, you hate a cliche.
I hate a
Put it
cliche,
that
I
way.
guess.
But
Yeah,
are
that's
you-
fair.
Are you at that stage now where you can just make something for the crowd to?
That's what I'm trying to do.
Is that what you're
With
doing
EP,
now? Because
with
we had this
EP,
conversation where, because I used to go to your shows,
Yeah.
and then sometimes you would ask me, "How do you fit like musically and all that stuff?" I'm like, to me, it sounds unreal, but maybe to the person that doesn't really pay attention to music, it's like, what is going on here? There's too much.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. But I mean, I guess I don't think that people should be concerned.
well, yeah, I know.
Really.
I know.
But then, I don't know. Like, it's if you want to set out to make a band that is commercial, then yeah, you have to pay attention to that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I don't know. With me, it's never. I don't know. I'm like a fucking dog chasing a car or something. I've never had an aim. Like I just like
Yeah.
I have a drive to do this thing.
Yeah.
No matter. I don't know. Is that how you feel with music? Like I just.
I think
It has to come out of me somehow.
I think the
I don't know
best
where it's going.
the best way I can look at it is that I can't stop making music. One of the biggest differences between me and Adam, no matter what band we've been in, is like you said, you really take time over songs. I pump them out like something else.
Yeah.
Right.
You've got so much good experience from doing that as well.
Yeah, that I can sort of refine stuff a bit better because I guess I wasn't protecting songs. I wasn't worried that people wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe there's just like a lack of pride sometimes in what I'm putting out. I'm not that worried about it not being my best work.
Yeah.
I can just put stuff out. But like I just think the way I'm doing it now with Don Maple, which is a lot more liberating, is because I don't have the worry of other people and what their expectation of the band is. Because the thing that was probably the hardest with B-Button is like, you know, I'm with my two best friends and my brother is like my closest group of friends, and it's like you don't want anyone to be let down by it, or you know, if they're trying to get something else out of it, you're not giving them what they need. Whenever it comes to writing songs for Don Maple, I just like to write songs, man, and I write a lot of them, and whenever I'm happy with them, I was like, I would like people to hear this, and I just like to like throw it out there. Now that's not to say like, you know, I guess my stuff is more I don't want to use the word cliche, but it's in that like, it's in the vein of stuff that it's been done before, I guess, you know. But that doesn't mean like, I don't think it means it's bad. I think it's just the way I write, and it's the way I'm feeling at the time, and I just have to put it out. I mean, I have to do it. If I'm not creative in like a week, I start getting really weird and antsy, and I just have to like do something.
Yeah.
But the best way to look at it is like, everyone would love to get some success off of this, but I think as long as you can stay true to what you want to be, I know that's kind of a corny answer, but like, if you're doing you to the best of your ability and you can market yourself as you, that's fine. I mean, I'm not trying to like be anything I'm not whenever I do these things. Like the reason I picked Don Maple is because like, I love that I'm Canadian. It's a close connection of mine. I talk about it all the time, and I'm proud to be from there. All my fondest childhood memories are from there. You know, it's just part of me, and it's weird whenever I come to writing songs and I like to write about those memories. It seemed so like prominent that it made sense to name the project Don Maple as a Canadian thing.
Told the story about the Don Maple
I did. I talked about this with Ethan, like, but it seemed relevant. It's not plugging myself at all. But that's what I mean. It's just like I steered into what was more like me. An important conversation, right? This is like an embarrassing conversation, but one of the last conversations we had on B Button that I think kind of spelled it out for me was like me trying to even ask everyone like what did we think the band was meant to be like with a name like Hit the B Button. Is it meant to be like nerdy? Is it meant to be like a nerd vibe? I mean, we all love video games and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know, I'd probably edge more on the nerdy side about certain things. Well, me and Mike do, I guess. But like, I was like, is it that? Or is it like some of our songs are like real sexy riffs and so is it meant to be sexy? I was just like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I always felt so, I don't know, so stressed about it. I was even stressed going on stage sometimes because I felt like I was trying to be somebody else, put on like a different face for the show. And it's like, so not even big time. You're talking about small shows, but it's just like I felt like I had to like act into a persona. And it's like all I do now is like be me. Maybe sometimes a bit more of an exaggerated version of myself, but I don't think I'm that far off the way I am all the time. So that's
It's
what
a whole lot of fun just watching your shows live.
there's there's nothing
you
crazy
having fun.
going on, yeah, but it's just me having a good time.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm happy now, because like the guys that I have on board for the band, I was just like, they're just like somewhat of a dream team of mine. People I just like, I can't believe that they came to me. One of them came to me, Chris Rooney, from Paper Dogs, and I was just like, he wanted to do something, and I floated it out there because I really didn't think he'd take me up on the offer to be part of Don Maple. I thought he'd want to do something closer to home because we're so not what Paper Dogs was. And he was so down for it, and then Patrick from Zeal is just like, I always wanted Zeal's drums on it, and I was just like, I'm sold, you know, it's the greatest. But the thing I can't believe is just them turning around and being like, they love my songs and they want to do it. Like the huge insecure part of me keeps saying to them, I have to let you guys know that I'm gonna constantly worry that you're all just kidding and you're all gonna take off on me like immediately before the first show and leave me on my own again, because that's what I'll think. Because I don't have as much faith in it, but they keep reassuring me they really like this song. So if I bring the songs and they play them really well, then I think I'm gonna have fun with this band, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank
The
you.
live shows.
Thank you, man. Well, speaking of
Live shows.
when are they coming for SACHA?
Well, we have a little bit of a confession.
A confession or an announcement? A sneaky
Yeah,
announcement?
it's definitely not a confession, it's an announcement.
Confession? What have you done?
Yeah. Well, half of the SACHA, there is a SACHA band like in the works, and half of the band is actually here right now. So
Andy, what are you up
Andy.
to? What are you up to, Andy
Bass
boy?
and whatever. I'm on the decks.
Andy on the decks. It's unexpected. There's no
There
decks.
it is. It's happening now.
Yeah, I'm gonna play bass for SACHA, so that's super cool.
It's very cool because we've been in bands together, but you've never, like, I've never played guitar in a band with you, and I don't know why. 'cause
And I've
we've always written songs.
Always
together.
played bass on that.
Yeah.
I can't seem to get away from that.
But you're good at it.
I only started playing bass. I was that guy. I was the old meme guy where it's just like you were the rhythm guitarist and it's like, we need one of them bass thingies in here. Here, play this. And I'm like, okay. I love bass now. I grew to love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm playing bass. Super excited.
There you go.
Gonna be cool. And I'll
rest of
let
the
you
band.
do the honors. You got 2 other members in there, man. and
I'm very
it's,
excited about it. So we've only done a few rehearsals, but it's going so well. We've got the guys from Zool, Nolan and Ash, on guitar and drums, respectively. The guys, it's probably like their 20th band.
I was gonna say the last thing those guys need is another fucking band,
Yeah.
but sure.
Surprise, surprise! Nolan and Ash are in another band, but it's going really well. I was kind of like unsure, but from the very first practice, like we actually managed to get Deperson done in one
Yeah.
night. It sounded really good.
I was happy with
And
it. I thought it sounded
just,
great.
like, playing my songs with a band again, it was like, holy shit, it was so liberating, you know, really liberating. And yeah, the thing that people want to actually play my songs is just
Yeah, for sure.
mad.
Adam has this thing about his songs, like whenever you know, any other band I could be in, like Don Maple or whatever, I don't need to worry about it so much. I obviously spend a lot of time writing the songs for Don Maple, but whenever it comes to playing, it's like, it's nice, smooth and easy. Whenever you gotta play one of Adam's songs, there's a lot of learning involved.
Yeah,
It's
but we're gonna streamline that.
it really reminds me of whenever I was like hardcore into Guitar Hero, and I used to play everything on expert, and I would spend hours and hours playing it over and over again. But you see, whenever you could like do the hardest level of songs on expert, and you just look like a badass, that's what it feels like whenever I get to sit down and play Deperson on bass. I'm just like And I was like, oh, this makes me look really cool. It's like, it's not my song, but
High reward.
it is high reward, but you also have to like play it over and over again, like every single week, or else you'll forget
But if we
it.
get that out of the way, like, it's fun as well. So far in the rehearsals, it's been pretty fun.
I like it. Once I get it down, I just love playing the riffs.
Yeah,
Like, they're so
it's
much
not
fun to
gonna
play.
Be like, you know, gonna see, I don't know, Tool comes to mind, a band live where it's just like they clearly have no fun with each other anymore. Like,
That'll be me. Me with a calculator at the side,
yeah,
trying to work out the time signature.
I'm looking forward to it. It's a whole lot of fun so far.
For sure, man. It was really fun because like I think even the Zool guys said it, Nolan and Ash, like you know, we're making jokes that they play in a lot of bands, but most of them are just like them having different ways to get their music projects out, and they're kind of just a circulation of different members of Zool. Where this, for them, or the way they put it anyway, it was just like, instead of just changing out a singer, this was actually them playing with two completely different people from outside the inner circle, as it were, you know. Like, it was very different.
The inner circle.
I did.
You did it.
I punned it, sorry.
And like, it was really nice because we all came to practice for the first time, and we were all like, we just got it out in the open that we were all nervous.
We were all on edge.
Because I had
It's
played
like,
guitar in a band for years.
it's so weird,
Years,
despite
just-
knowing that we could do it.
Yeah.
Like, we can all play music
Yeah.
to like a decent
Never
enough
worked-
degree,
Never worked with those guys.
but we just never worked together. So you're sort of like, I don't even know what it is, if you're just like embarrassed to like, you know, try and put this stuff out, or you're worried that they're gonna think you're not that good or something like that. But
It was like a first date.
it
that
was
went well.
it was like a first date, and it went well. I would
We call
definitely
each other back.
call again.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
We banged.
We bang. We're gonna get towards the end here, man. I hog this. I'd hog this
No, I've
mic.
been enjoying listening to it because I barely know. Like, because every time we meet, it's like we just talk about nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Kanye West.
actually. Yeah. Tie-dye hair, all that shit.
Yeah.
But, like, every
Kanye
time.
West has tie-dye hair now. You can't let an episode go.
No, I know.
without
Without Kanye West. We actually can't let an episode go without talking about Kanye West.
Well, what do you do?
He fucking coloured his hair, tie-dyed it for no reason, but fair enough. I like Kanye West. Can't wait for his new stuff.
You just wish you had rainbow hair.
I
man.
wish I
That's
had
what it
hair. I wish I had
is. Settle for hair.
No, because when I barely get to actually hear you talk about yourself, because it's either I'm watching you play music, or I'm at a gig and there's so much going on. So I just took this episode to just go, right, you talk it out, I'll listen, get to know you,
Yeah.
and I feel like
I haven't had a platform to talk about
Well,
my music
now
in a
this is
while,
it.
and that's why it feels really
This
good
is
to be
it.
doing
I
this.
did
yeah.
have a question. It was something to do with this, the slaw thing, and used to having the idea of doing a hip hop style band.
Yeah.
And I would would fucking love that.
Yeah.
The guy in the Tupac.
Sorry, I know. I like country music. But yeah, that is obviously, now that you've got SACHA,
Yeah.
you've got yourself. That's obviously not going to be happening for a while.
Slaw is. We're gonna come back to Slaw. Slaw's cool. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think nowadays I want to be more subtly influenced by hip hop. Like, I am so influenced by people like Anderson .Paak, obviously Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
Like, you can't go without mentioning
Totally.
Kendrick Lamar
Yeah.
in hip hop these days. Like, but yeah, trying to channel that influence is hard, and in a way where you're not just being kind of inauthentic, I think. And like I hope that some of that has come through on this EP that's going to come out, because it's kind of like lo-fi drums, but I'm not actually, you know, spitting bars or whatever. This time.
You should fuck it.
Whereas I am clearly.
Sure, we'll take any chance to spit
I will
bars.
take any chance to spit bars on. People want me for features. Give me a call. Several people already have. Looking at you, Blood. Looking at you, Fury.
Shout out.
Spitting bars.
I can add some skirts if you want.
Whenever you're on the telephone and you go, you know, I called her on the phone. Similar noise for machine guns. It's lower. But that's, yeah, you'd be my hype man for sure.
Try.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would love to come back to Saw just because, like, me and Adam get to work together in that way, doing this stuff. It's different, you know what I mean? And it's, like, super casual. Like, we set up the sort of makeshift studio in my house at the time, which is a lot of fun, which is why in the video you will see all these, like, clips of, like, birds and stuff landing around. That's the house that I used to live in.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I
Listen
really...
to that song, like, I know that video, like, the video without the music maybe seems a bit like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Listen to the song. I'm still really proud of that song.
So
And
am
I want to, like, do similar things. I've never gone back to
I
the
love
production
it.
style. Like,
Super experimental.
pitch shifted,
Yep.
distorted, saturated drums and stuff. Like, drums making melody throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
A loop of birds, like, doing, like, a major third, I think, like, interval.
The
throughout
whole way
thing,
through.
Like, making that melodic and making that actually part of the song. Like, I love that sort of shit.
It was pretty out there,
Yeah.
but like I genuinely love that song, and it reminds me of a weird time just because of, you know, like I lived in that house at the time, and I actually I remember this. There's a couple of very particular things about the day that Adam came around to record it. I remember that I was sitting watching Donnie Darko when he showed up. So like
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I always like were we near Halloween whenever we recorded?
It was January.
It was January. I always feel like it was at Halloween because I was watching Donnie Darko, and
It
I'd
was-
usually watch it around that
I
time of
remember
year.
that because it was just before a breakup, which ended up manifesting itself in my part of the song.
Yes,
I was gonna
Traumatic event.
that
number
was a
one
traumatic
out of two
breakup
in
of
my
a
life.
long-term relationship going south. But you'll hear that at the end of that song
Yeah.
if you go and listen to it.
I'm actually quite happy. Like, don't worry about me. I'm just,
You're very happy
I like
now.
to express
Very happy.
myself. Yeah, I have a good. thing going
What's
at the minute.
actually the super weird contrast? Sorry, you were talking about something way more important than this.
No, go on.
But it's just such a weird contrast because you know, that had obviously happened after we recorded the song, but whenever I went in and recorded my vocals, I was in a really good place because
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
planning to propose to my then girlfriend
Yeah.
at the time, and I told you about that, and yeah, it was just weird because I was kind of writing about that in a way.
Yeah.
And it's weird that like my parts of the song
Wait,
are
so
like
the
that.
one song has two sides of.
It's like two sides of the coin.
It's just
Unintentional.
like this, like really chilled sort of. I'm in a good place right now, and it goes with the first half of the song, and then the second half of the song gets really like. There's a bit where it gets really aggressive. My part comes in, it gets really like, whoa, it's getting a bit creepy here. Like there's a different vibe, and then for the very end part, I think I sort of tried to like relax myself. It was like I was speaking to myself as a way to like come out of this bad event, and I was like, right, that's why it's called work on your posture. It was like work on yourself, you know, like, get yourself out of this.
Yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, you doing a chill part, then me doing like everything
Yeah,
sucks, and
it
then
worked.
it's like a whoa.
Unintentionally worked. It was just one of those things.
Yeah.
Because there's big breaks
It's very weird. So I like it a lot.
between doing it. Yeah. There's a lot that probably shouldn't work in that, but worked great.
Yeah.
Like,
Like I've spoken to people who think that's the best thing I've ever done, and I can kind of agree with that. Maybe it's cool.
I really love the song.
Yeah.
There's so much going on. Yeah, it's about time we jumped over to the shout out segment. So the main thing that I want to shout out is the new group that we started on Facebook called Cosmonauts of the Spaceship. And I just kind of want to give it a bit of an explanation for anyone who has joined the group, or if they want to try and add like-minded people in, I'm fine with that as well. We monitor the whole thing, so if anyone starts like spamming it or posting up weird stuff in it, we have to review it before it goes up anyway. So don't worry, the more people that go on it that want to connect musically, the better, in my opinion. The point is, this group is not the first of its kind. There's loads of them out there. The only one that keeps floating in mind is Alcohol and Irony. And they sort of let like people post up their gigs or their new singles, and it's trying to promote each other, musicians helping musicians. That's exactly what we're trying to do. We've said you can post up your new single, post up your gigs. If you're looking for band members, put that up. If you want to collab with people, then put the offer out there. That's fine. The big difference, the reason that we want to run this page is not just another annoying thing like we keep throwing stuff at you. It's just that every week we would do a lot of research for the podcast, especially the audio ones. If we have a guest, then we'll just do research on them. But if we're doing the audio one, we try and gather up everything that's going on our local music scene so we can talk about it. And it would just not necessarily make it easier, but give us information that we don't have if you guys brought some to us. Because the biggest worry, and what happens on the music scene quite a lot, is that you get into a circle of musicians and you just stay there within the clique that and I don't want to talk about the exact same musicians or artists every single week. That's not what it's about. We're trying to all connect together, because the more unified we become, the better it's going to be. So there might be people that I know of who know somebody that I don't know, so the whole point is share their music to me. Share your own stuff as well. Share gigs that are coming up that maybe I haven't heard about, and we can sort of pick into that every week and do it in our shout out segments, or if there's anything really of note, like any news stories about music stuff that's happening around Northern Ireland or down south, throw those in as well, and we'll talk about what we can. I mean, we're not a huge group, so we won't be able to hit everything, but that's why the group is there. It's to benefit the podcast. We also have a blog on our website. We do a lot of things, so if there's something important or something that you want help with, that's what we try and do. So post it in there, and it's a good way to stay interactive and stay in communication with the fans, And that's all I want to really shout out. I think Mike's got a couple of gigs that he's going to call out here. In case you don't know, they're going on around the scene. Mike, what you got?
I got March 1st, Spin are playing at Music Centre. Spin are a pretty good band. I came across them. I think they played like a live session. I can't remember if it was for Radio 6 or Radio 1 or what it was. But I think that might be an all ages gig. But to me personally, I think this is one of those gigs where it's a band. The tickets are going to be cheap, and you might find these guys blow up a couple of minutes or like a couple of months.
A couple of minutes after the show, they might blow up.
Down the line. A couple of months on down the line, maybe. I think they're definitely on their way to doing cool things. And our very own hand models from here are supporting those guys that night, so
cool.
You can get down and support them as well. On the 7th of March, Centre have Getting to Know session. They do these like every month, and it's kind of like a live session with a band or an artist, and in between playing songs, they'll sit down on the sofa with maybe one of the Across the Line hosts, or somebody else, basically doing an interview, and kind of in the same way our podcast gives you, sort of a bit more of an insight into the way their music is created. They do like mini interviews in between song performances. So that's 7th of March at Centre, and the artist that night is Arborist. Also 7th of March, another choice if that doesn't tickle your fancy, Malto Vivo and Winona Bleach are playing a gig in Cathedral Quarter as well. Yeah. So we can post up a link to that. And the last thing, without getting too far ahead of ourselves there, March 14th, Mosmo Stranger playing a gig in the Menagerie, and they're being supported by Curious. From down south. Good. Those guys are pretty rad. I think that would be something Adam would be.
Oh yeah,
very
I
much
saw
into.
them. They supported Alpha Male Tea Party in the Empire.
Yes, I remember you talking about that gig.
So good.
Yeah,
I was like, who the hell are these guys? It's great.
Awesome. Cool.
Done.
That all we got for now. Yeah, well, there's two little traditions that I gotta get you to do before you go. Number one is you gotta sign Springsteen. Springsteen is the alien. He is the mascot. He's deflating slightly as we speak. I'll have to blow him up again. Give a new meaning to the word blowjob. I gotta give him a blowjob after. But we need to get you to sign the alien wherever you want. With a Sharpie. Where did I put that Sharpie actually?
Oh, what's the name of
I think I brought it with me.
So who's on this already? Ethan Hanna? Is this a signature or?
No, there is a weird red mark on the top of his head for some reason. It looks like
Fell from space.
Landed.
it looks like
Like
lipstick.
head first,
I think somebody's been having their way with Springsteen.
Don't tell me that.
It was me. It was me.
Something to do with the cloning process.
I think it'll
Oh right.
go in the back of the head.
On the back of the head.
I have a really obnoxious, like pretentious signature.
That's cool, man. That's
I'm gonna do one of those.
you have to whenever you're in this game. That's awesome. Right, okay. That's another one for the books, folks. We got Sasha on the back, Ethan Hanna on the front. We have been, well, I don't know what way to put him. I've been Don Maple, this has been Andy, that's been Mike, that's been Sasha, and the guy that hasn't spoken or you've seen at all is Darren, who helps us out with all the cameras. So big shout out to Darren.
Let it down.
See my arm at the beginning of it.
You might see his arm occasionally popping up around the place. That's Darren. He's a good fellow. And yeah, that's all we got time for. So we gotta I forgot number two of the traditions. The most important is to play us out on the automaton.
There you go.
Oh yeah. Let me get the setting. What do you want set to? Low, mid, or high?
High, as trill as possible.
High. Okay. There you
These
go.
things, I don't know, man.
Here
I
you
love
go.
these things. I've never actually touched one. I've done extensive research.
There you go, dude.
Like, do you want to do it? Because I don't know how to. What do you
Oh, you know you're all on. You just gotta. There you go. There you go. Now you
have
got
to
it.
move it?
You don't have to move the mouse at all.
Articulation.
Sometimes funnier.
Wow. Just like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but if you want to go on YouTube and check out the version of Green Sleeves of these things, like a 3-piece
It's-
harmony of Green Sleeves.
Fucking horrifying. We would like to thank Patrick J. Hodgin and Zeal for the use of our theme song, Queen of the Rodeo. This has been 6 Up Bro. You know. Usually Andy says something. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. And remember,
It doesn't go low enough. Set it, but quick, set it to low.
and remember, work on your posture.
Heyo.
That's good advice. Really good. That'll help you.